welcome to Books on the Go. I'm Anna Baillie-Karas and I'm excited today because I'm doing a page 112 book tag, tagged by Sean the Book Maniac. So hello Sean, and I'll link his channel down below. I don't know how to do that yet, but we'll work that out. So the page, I'm sure you'll know it if you follow Sean's channel, but the page 112 challenge is based on, I think it was a prize in Paris where they work out the shortlist by reading page 112 of the books, because the theory is that the first page is always so polished and perfected that to get a real indication of the quality of the writing, to open up the book somewhere in the middle. So this is really exciting. What I'm going to do, Sean has sent me 3 page 112s, and I don't know what the books are, so it's a blind, I was going to say blind tasting. It's a blind reading, and then I have an email that I have not opened yet that I'm going to open to do the big reveal. So you might be able to guess what the books are. Let's see. So without further ado, and Sean puts up a transcript of it, but I don't know if I have the technical skills to do that. So I'm just going to read it out loud, but this is what we're reading. So book number 1. Okay. Different members of the congregation had their favourites and put in requests before service. Never a jealous man, the pastor called upon Celia to testify often, said she had a gift. It was only on rare spring nights, when the wind carried a pinch of jasmine into her window just before she fell asleep, that Celia would press her lips against her cupped palm and wonder what it must be like to actually kiss. The day had long since broken its yoke and was high above the horizon. Ruby felt the morning tickling her fingers, tickling and biting. She opened her eyes and saw red ants scattered across her hands. She quickly brushed them off, wiping her palm across the ground, killing an entire battalion. Then she saw the man. He was innocent with sleep. What was left of his cake lay in crumbs between them. She watched the rise and fall of his broad chest. His head lay upon a shoulder of earth. A bit of wind crossed her lap, and Ruby noticed her eldest child as she leaned up from her grave. She pressed her waxy hand on his chin. Then came the others, like Lilliputians. I know that word and I don't know how to say it. To sleeping Gulliver. Some held back, while some went boldly over and sat on his chest, plucked at his eyelashes and played with his ears. He didn't move, and Ruby liked it that way. So she leaned up from her grave. Are they in a cemetery? That's really interesting. I like the writing. The day had broken its yoke. That's quite a poetic turn of phrase. And tickling her fingers, which are the red ants. Then she saw the man. So we've had Celia in the first section of the page, and then we move, I think this is a completely different scene with Ruby. Pressed her waxy hand on his chin. Are they alive or not? We don't know. Very intriguing. I can't pick this. I don't know. I don't recognise the writing. And there was a bit of the rare spring night with a pinch of jasmine into her window, which made me feel like we were in, I don't know why I thought India, but somewhere a tiny bit tropical. But in fact, jasmine could be anywhere. So, very interesting. Book number 2 is this one. So, the learned Pandit also enjoyed a reputation for promoting communal harmony. For instance, during the periodic protests against Muslims and cow slaughter, Pandit Lalaram persuaded his co-religionists that it was not right for Hindus to condemn the cow-eaters. He explained that the Muslim, by his religion, was burdened with 4 wives, poor fellow, and he needed to eat the flesh of animals to heat up his blood and service those 4 wives. He was carnivorous out of necessity, not out of fondness for cow flesh or to harass Hindus, and as such should be pitied and left in peace to satisfy his religious requirements. With his spotless record, Pandit Laralam's champions were many. So honest and fair was he, they said, even an untouchable could receive justice at his hands. That no untouchable could verify this claim in living memory was beside the point. People seemed to remember vaguely the time a landlord had beaten a bungi to death for arriving late at the house, well after sunrise, to cart away the household's excrement. Pandit Lalaram had ruled, or it might have been his father, or perhaps his grandfather, in any case, someone had ruled that the offence was serious, but not serious enough to warrant the killing, and that the landlord, in recompense, must provide food, shelter, and clothing for the dead man's wife and children for the next 6 years. Well, that I really like, the tone of it. It's got a sense of humour, it's gentle, but it conveys a lot of activity and an interesting character. It sounds like it could be set in India. It makes me think a little bit of Amativ Ghosh, who wrote The Sea of Poppies, and I think there's a trilogy or 2 trilogies of books. And so I like that style of sort of comforting, gentle, lyrical writing, but it does keep moving. So I'm intrigued by that one. And again, I'm not quite sure what it is or who it's by. Just the setting, I think we have more of a clue there. So, book number 3. So, book number 3. The way you talk, the way you yell out at home as if you were still in the store, and even your facial expressions are weird. I'm begging you, please try to be normal. She began crying even harder. So will I be cured if I leave the convenience store? Or am I better staying working there? And should I kick Shinraha out? Or am I better with him here? Look, I'll do whatever you say. I don't mind either way, so please just instruct me in specific terms. I don't know anymore. She kept crying uncontrollably without responding to my request. Lost for something to do, I took a custard pudding out of the refrigerator and ate it as I watched her sitting there sobbing. Just then there was the sound of the bathroom door opening. I turned in surprise and saw Shiraha standing there. I'm so sorry. To tell you the truth, your sister and I just had a fight. I made a real embarrassing spectacle of myself, didn't I? You must be really shocked. Well, this, with both the name and the reference to the convenience store, makes me think it could be Convenience Store Woman, which is set in Japan and which I haven't read. But I'm wondering if that's what it is, but it doesn't give you many clues. It could be any book where a character works in a convenience store. That's just the one that's fresh in my mind, that's been talked about a lot recently. I like that. It does feel fresh, and it's got that nice isn't a good word, but that writing that reads very matter-of-factly and simply, but is enjoyable to read. It's not pedestrian writing. I don't feel like it's as polished and beautiful as the other 2, but I think that's just a different style. So really interesting variety there. Okay, I'm going to open up the email. This is exciting. So I'm just opening it now as we speak, and I think I have to, it's a separate document. Okay, so we're opening the document now. I've just got my laptop here doing this. And then, okay, so the first one, I should have guessed this by the name, but it was just not on my mind. How funny. The first one is Ruby by Cynthia Bond. So that, I nearly read that a couple of years ago. I feel like it was shortlisted or longlisted for the Booker Prize or maybe the Women's Prize. It was quite buzzy for a while, and people were reading it and comparing it with another similar book and really liked it. So I actually almost read that. Okay, so that's Ruby. Really good. And the second one, which I liked, was A Fine Balance by Rohinton Mistry. So that was, it doesn't say there, but I feel like that was set somewhere near or in India. So I don't think I've heard of that, A Fine Balance. So I'll have to look into that. That might need to go on my list because I really liked the sound of that one. And yes, I guessed it. Convenience store woman. Well, I think the clue was in the Japan setting and the convenience store reference. So again, that's another one that's been on my radar, which I might need to pick up soon. And I think that's a good one, although it's just passed us by, but for women in translation. But it's, you know, it's always a good time to read women in translation, not just in August. So really good picks. Thank you, Sean. And thank you all for watching. And as I said, I'll link Sean's channel below because I sent him some, so I think he'll do a separate video as well. And I'll see you soon. Bye.